I still remember the exact moment it happened. It was a quiet Friday evening, nothing special, just me reheating leftovers and planning to watch a game. Then my phone buzzed with a bank alert. At first, I thought it was just another small charge I'd forgotten about. But when I looked again, I froze. $3,200 withdrawal approved. $3,200. From an account Jenna and I shared for basic expenses, groceries, bills, small things. We never touched large amounts without talking first. Never. At least, that's what I thought. My name is Logan Parker, and I learned the truth about my relationship from a single bank alert. Not a confession. Not an argument. Just one notification that shattered everything I thought I knew. I refreshed the screen twice, hoping it was some mistake. But the name on the digital receipt was clear, cardholder, Jenna Collins. My chest tightened. Jenna wasn't even supposed to be spending much this week. She told me she was going on a simple weekend retreat with her friends. Something relaxing. Something cheap. She even joked about how the spa she wanted was out of her budget. So how did her name end up on a $3,200 charge? I called her immediately. It rang once, then twice, then went straight to voicemail. No callback. Not even a quick text asking why I called. I tried again. Straight to voicemail. Finally, after the third call, she sent a short message, "Can't talk. With the girls. All good. Love you." All good? Really? My stomach twisted. Something felt off. The message was too short, too casual, nothing like her usual warm tone. I stared at it for a long minute, the feeling growing heavier in my chest. I tried distracting myself, scrolling mindlessly. But that's when it happened. I opened social media and saw a story posted by someone Jenna followed. A rooftop bar, blue lights, city skyline behind them. Loud music. People dancing. And right there, right in the center of the frame, Jenna. Laughing. Hair done in curls she never mentioned. Wearing a dress she told me she returned last week. And worst of all, a man's hand on her waist. Not a friend's hand. Not a casual gesture. A hand that lingered, like someone who felt comfortable claiming space that wasn't theirs. My heart sank. You don't mistake that kind of touch. You don't misinterpret that kind of body language. Before I could process it, another bank alert came through. 185, Rooftop Lounge 640, Fine Dining Restaurant 1120, Marriott Downtown Suite. The charges kept coming, one after another. Every alert felt like another small cut, another confirmation that the story she told me wasn't the full story. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling a mix of disbelief and a quiet storm building inside me. Something was happening, something big, and Jenna wasn't telling me the truth. And deep down, I knew this was just the beginning. If you asked me a year ago, I would have told you Jenna and I were solid. Not perfect, but steady. She used to laugh at my jokes, sit next to me on the couch with her head on my shoulder, talk about plans we'd make someday. But somewhere along the way, something shifted, and I didn't see it until it was too late. It started small, little comments she probably thought I didn't notice. "You're fine with your small life, right, Logan? I just want more. You're okay with simple things. My parents say ambition matters, maybe they're right." At the time, I brushed it off. Richard and Denise Collins, her wealthy parents, always treated me like I didn't belong in their world. Her dad, Richard, had a way of looking at me like I was a charity project. Her mom, Denise, didn't even try to hide her judgment. And slowly, Jenna started talking like them. I remember the first night I sensed something was wrong. She came home late from work drinks, but her makeup was too perfect, her hair too styled. She didn't smell like an office or a bar, she smelled like a fancy restaurant I'd never heard of. "Busy night?" I asked. "Yeah," she said quickly. "Just tired." But she avoided eye contact, pulling her jacket tight like she was hiding something underneath. After that, the changes kept coming. More makeup. More excuses. More girls' nights that never matched what her friends posted online. More sudden weekend trips with only a few hours' notice. I wanted to trust her. I really did. But trust only works when both people care about the truth. Then the bank alert started showing a pattern. Names of upscale restaurants miles away from her office. Boutique stores she used to complain were too expensive. Hotel bars I'd only seen in movies, places way outside our budget. I scrolled through the list one night, and the numbers didn't lie. She wasn't living a simple life anymore. She was living a double one. And each alert felt like a quiet reminder of how far she was drifting. But the moment that really stayed with me happened at her parents' house 2 months before the rooftop charges. Richard patted my shoulder and said, "You're a nice guy, Logan, just not the kind of man our daughter should settle for." Jenna didn't defend me. She didn't say a word. She just smiled awkwardly, and changed the subject. Looking back now, that should have been my first warning. Her silence said more than anything she could have spoken. Now, as I stared at those new charges from the rooftop bar and that expensive hotel suite, everything clicked into place. This wasn't a sudden betrayal. It had been building quietly, one small shift at a time. And the life Jenna was living behind her smile. It wasn't the life she shared with me anymore. It was something else. Something hidden. Something I needed to uncover, no matter how painful the truth might be. I didn't sleep much the night I saw those charges. Every time I shut my eyes, that rooftop image came back. Jenna laughing, leaning into someone else, living a life I didn't know about. By morning, I knew I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. I had to understand what was really happening, no guesses, no assumptions. I needed facts. So I started where anyone would, her digital trail. I opened her shared email inbox, something we both used for bills and travel plans. Nothing alarming at first, just spam, store coupons, a few old messages. But when I typed certain keywords into the search bar, new receipts appeared. High-end dining. Late-night lounges. Luxury hotel bookings. All tied to nights she told me she was out with the girls. And the strangest part? The reservations were for 2. Always 2. Never a group. My chest tightened reading each confirmation. I told myself I wouldn't jump to conclusions, but the evidence wasn't subtle. Next, I checked the bank statements. Same pattern. Repetitive charges that matched the emails. Different restaurants, different nights, different cities. Places I'd never been with her. By noon, the weight of it all became too heavy to carry alone. So I called my best friend, Tyler Grant. Tyler and I had known each other since high school. He was the kind of guy who didn't panic, the steady voice you needed when your world felt shaky. I forwarded him the charges. His reply came instantly, "This isn't normal, Logan. Let's find out the truth." And so we did. We started with the most recent restaurant, Harper Vine, a fancy modern place Jenna always said we couldn't afford. I'd never stepped foot inside, but I walked in that day with a mix of dread and determination. A hostess greeted me, smiling politely. "Table for 1." I swallowed hard. "Actually, I'm looking for information. My girlfriend was here a few nights ago, Jenna Collins." Her smile shifted, just slightly. Oh, yes. I remember her. She was with a tall guy. Dark hair. They sat near the window. My throat tightened. She didn't hesitate. She didn't question it. Because she knew exactly who Jenna was with. I forced a small nod, thanking her before I walked out. The air outside felt heavy. Like every truth I uncovered added another weight to my chest. Tyler waited in the car. When I told him, he didn't explode with anger or judgment. He just nodded slowly and said, "Logan, you deserve honesty. She's hiding more than you think." And he was right. This wasn't just a one-time slip. It wasn't a misunderstanding. The details lined up too perfectly. Restaurant for two. Hotel for two. Charges for two. Piece by piece, the truth was no longer a mystery. And the more I uncovered, the clearer it became, Jenna wasn't living a separate life by accident. She chose it. Now it was my turn to choose what came next. The moment I left that restaurant, one question kept repeating in my mind like a broken record: who was the man she was with? The staff described him clearly: tall, dark hair, confident. Someone who didn't look like a stranger to her. Someone who didn't look temporary. And the more I thought about it, the more my memory stirred. Jenna once mentioned a coworker named Ryan Mitchell. Just once. Quickly. Almost like she regretted saying his name out loud. I remember the night she brought him up. We were sitting on the couch, watching TV, when she casually said, "Ryan got promoted today. Big celebration at the office." But the moment I asked, "Oh yeah? What's he like?" she stiffened. She looked away and said, "Just a guy from work." Forget it. I didn't think much of it then. But now. That moment replayed in my head with a completely different meaning. Back then, I thought she was tired. Now, I realized she was hiding something. But that version of me, the trusting one, the patient one, the forgiving one, was gone the moment she opened a credit card in my name. So Tyler and I sat at my kitchen table and built a plan. A calm, quiet plan. Collect everything. Protect my accounts. Document every detail. Prepare for the moment she walked through the door, pretending nothing was wrong. And when that moment came, I wouldn't shout. I wouldn't break. I wouldn't crumble. I would be ready. Because sometimes the strongest revenge isn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Calculated. Delivered with proof instead of emotion. And for the first time since this started, I felt in control again. I didn't have to guess anymore. By the time Friday rolled around, I already knew where Jenna was really going. She stood in the doorway with her overnight bag, smiling like everything was perfectly normal. "Spa weekend with the girls," she said, kissing my cheek lightly. "Don't wait up. We'll probably stay late." I looked at her, really looked at her. Fresh curls. New dress. Perfume she only wore on special occasions. She wasn't dressed for a spa. She was dressed for someone. But I didn't say a word. I just nodded and watched her walk out the door, pretending she still lived in the truth. An hour later, my phone buzzed. 942, Lakeside Grand Hotel 360, Ivy Ember Steakhouse 210, Skyline Rooftop Lounge. Every charge confirmed what I already knew. She wasn't with her friends. She wasn't relaxing at a spa. She was with Ryan. But instead of sitting at home letting anger build, I decided to do something unexpected. I drove to her parents' house. Richard and Denise answered the door with their usual polite but icy expressions. They always looked at me like I was something Jenna picked up at a garage sale. "Logan," her mother said, surprised. What brings you here? Just checking in, I said calmly. Jenna's away for the weekend. Thought I'd say hello. They exchanged a look, one they didn't bother hiding. Richard cleared his throat. Well, Jenna did mention you've been comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. I tried to smile politely. What do you mean? Denise spoke next, her voice soft but sharp. She said you're a small-town guy at heart. And she needs someone who can keep up with the life she wants. The life she wants. Not the life we built. They kept talking, how Jenna deserves more, how she felt held back, how she's finally living bigger. And with every word, the picture grew clearer. This wasn't just Ryan. This wasn't just a hidden weekend. This was an entire narrative she created, one where I was the anchor weighing her down. I thanked them and left before the bitterness in my throat could turn into something I'd regret saying. Back in the car, I sat quietly, letting the truth settle in a way it hadn't before. Jenna didn't drift away by accident. She didn't fall into temptation. She didn't make a mistake. She made a choice. She told her parents I was too small. She told her coworkers she wanted more. She told herself a story where she was the rising star and I was just the background. And that hurt more deeply than anything else. Because love doesn't disappear overnight, but respect does. That weekend wasn't the beginning of her betrayal. It was the end of the illusion. The moment everything collapsed, and the moment I finally saw her for who she truly was. And now, I knew exactly what I had to do next. Sunday night, around 8:30 p.m., I heard the sound of keys jingling outside the door. Jenna walked in like nothing had happened, smiling, humming, tossing her bag on the couch as if she hadn't been living a double life for months. "Babe, you will not believe how relaxing that spa was," she said brightly. "I feel like a new person. A new person." She wasn't lying about that. She slipped off her shoes, chatting non-stop about imaginary skincare treatments, fake conversations with friends, and a massage she definitely didn't get. I didn't interrupt. Not once. I just sat at the dining table, hands folded, watching her perform her script. She didn't notice. She was too busy pretending. She opened the fridge, grabbed a sparkling water, and leaned against the counter. "Oh. And you know Kelsey?" I raised one finger, just one. A calm signal for her to stop talking. She blinked. "What? Did I miss something?" Silently, I reached beside me and lifted a stack of papers, neatly printed bank statements, hotel receipts, timestamps, and screenshots. I placed them in the center of the table. Her smile faded. She stared at the papers, then at me, then back at the papers. Color drained from her face so quickly it was almost painful to watch. "Logan, what is this?" I didn't answer. I simply slid the top page toward her, the one with her name next to the 942 Lakeside Grand Hotel suite. She swallowed hard. "Oh, okay, that looks bad, but, another page. The luxury dinner at Ivy Ember. Her signature on the receipt." "Logan, let me explain. It's not, another page. Rooftop lounge charges. 2 guests on the check." Her voice cracked. "Just listen, there's a misunderstanding, another page. The hidden credit card opened under my name." Her hands shook now. She sat down slowly, eyes darting across the table like she was searching for an excuse she hadn't rehearsed. "Logan. I swear, it's not what you think, the girls were." "Jenna," I said quietly, I didn't say anything yet. She froze. Because I wasn't yelling. I wasn't accusing. I wasn't breaking down. I was calm, too calm. And that terrified her more than anything. She tried again, voice trembling. It's just. I mean. Ryan was just being nice, we didn't. Her lies tripped over each other, collapsing under the weight of the proof in front of her. I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence do the talking. Because silence exposes reality. Silence removes excuses. Silence forces the truth out. And eventually, it did. Her shoulders slumped. Her eyes dropped. Her voice softened into a whisper. Okay. I messed up. That was her version of the truth, small, vague, incomplete. But it didn't matter anymore. Because in that moment, watching her crumble under real evidence, I understood one thing clearly: she had hoped her lies would survive as long as I never looked too closely. But now every layer had been peeled back. And the real confrontation was only beginning. For a long moment, Jenna just stared at the pile of proof spread across the table, like the papers themselves were attacking her. Then the excuses started pouring out, fast and shaky. "Logan, you're misunderstanding everything," she said, rubbing her forehead like I was the one creating the problem. "Half of these weren't even my charges. My friends borrowed my card. And the hotel? That was," I lifted another page. "Verified GPS location. Her phone. Inside the exact hotel suite she paid for." She stopped mid-sentence, lips trembling. I placed another page beside it. Timestamps from her credit card, matching the dinner, the drinks, the rooftop lounge. She opened her mouth again. "It was a joke, Logan. The girls dared me to." Another page. Frozen account confirmation from the bank. The moment I discovered the hidden credit card in my name. Her eyes widened. "You froze the accounts?" "I protected what was mine," I said calmly. "Everything here is documented." She reached for the papers, flipping through them like she was hoping one would magically erase the truth. Then the desperation hit. "Logan, please, it's not what it looks like. Ryan and we're just friends. He has a girlfriend, why would he?" I slid my phone across the table. A photo of her hugging Ryan on the rooftop. His hand on her waist. Her leaning in like she belonged there. The color drained from her face. Silence. Heavy, undeniable silence. Finally, she whispered, "Okay. Fine. I messed up. But you have to understand. I just wanted more." There it was. The truth she had been avoiding. "A bigger life," she continued, voice breaking. "You're comfortable with your small routine, your small job, your small dreams. I wanted something different, something better. And Ryan, he offered an upgrade," I finished for her. She didn't deny it. She didn't even look at me. For the first time, I saw her without excuses, without smiles, without the fake softness she used to hide behind. This was the real Jenna, someone who left the people she loved the moment she found something shiny. She reached for my hand. "Logan, we can fix this. Let's just talk." I pulled my hand back. "No," I said quietly. "We're not fixing anything." Her breath caught in her throat. "You're leaving tomorrow morning." Her eyes filled instantly. What? "Logan, where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore." She stood up, panic rising. "You can't just throw me out. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I need time." "You had time," I said. "Months of it." She didn't argue after that. She just stood there, realizing something she never expected: her backup plan, her safety net, the man she counted on to be here no matter what, was done. And for the first time, Jenna understood the real cost of the life she tried to upgrade to. She wasn't losing a boyfriend. She was losing the only person who ever truly cared. Jenna left the next morning without another word. A suitcase, a shaky breath, and a final glance at the doorway she once walked through with love, now leaving it with regret. But the story didn't end there. Because betrayal doesn't exist in a vacuum. It spreads. It leaves traces. And sometimes, truth circles back in ways no one expects. Later that afternoon, while I was sorting through the last pieces of paperwork, something caught my attention, a name I hadn't focused on before, Emily Lawson. A woman Ryan had tagged in a few older photos. Smiling beside him. Hand in hand. Vacation pictures. Holiday dinners. At first, I assumed she was a sister or a friend. But the captions told a different story. 3 years strong. My favorite person. Home with her. Ryan wasn't single. Not even close. He had a partner of his own, someone who believed in him, trusted him, built a life with him, just like I had with Jenna. I stared at Emily's profile for a long moment. Then I opened a private window. Uploaded the screenshots. Selected the receipts. Removed anything that tied back to my identity. And I sent everything anonymously to her. A single message, you deserve the truth. I didn't add anything else. No explanation. No anger. No pettiness. Just the facts. Hours passed before I heard anything. But then the fallout began, loud, fast, and impossible to ignore. A mutual coworker of Jenna's, Megan, texted me out of nowhere. Did you hear? Emily showed up at their office. Full confrontation. It was bad. Apparently, Emily walked into the building with every receipt, every timestamp, every screenshot printed neatly, just like I prepared them. She confronted Ryan in front of his team, loud enough that people in the hall heard every word. Ryan tried to deny it, but Emily had the truth in her hand. She held nothing back. Within an hour, rumors spread across the entire office. Jenna. Ryan. Hotel rooms. Secret weekends. Stolen credit. Lies. Everything. By the end of the day, Ryan was placed under review for professional misconduct. His promotion? Frozen. His credibility? Gone. And Jenna? She walked into work expecting a normal day, and instead found whispers following her down the hallway. People she once impressed now looked at her with pity, or worse, judgment. The life she built with lies cracked in a single afternoon. Tyler asked me if I felt satisfied. I didn't smirk. I didn't cheer. I didn't celebrate. I just breathed. Deep. Clear. Because the truth did all the work I never needed to. No shouting. No outbursts. No revenge that could backfire. Just reality. Delivered quietly. Swiftly. Cleanly. I didn't destroy them. Their own choices did. And for the first time, I finally felt free. People think the hardest part of betrayal is the moment you discover the truth. But it isn't. The real challenge comes after, when the dust settles, when the noise fades, and you're alone with the pieces someone else shattered. In the days that followed, my apartment felt quiet in a way I wasn't used to. Not empty, just honest. No pretending. No forced laughter. No lies hanging in the air like smoke. For the first time in months, I could breathe. I took a long walk that first morning after everything fell apart. The sky looked different, clearer, wider. Not because the world changed, but because I did. I started replaying everything in my head, the nights she came home distant, the subtle insults about my small life, the hidden spending, the secrets she tried to bury under excuses. It hurt. Of course it did. Betrayal always hurts more when you gave your heart honestly. But somewhere in that pain, something else formed: clarity. Jenna didn't betray me because I lacked something. She betrayed me because she didn't understand the value of what she already had. And that realization brought me a kind of peace I didn't expect. Over the next week, I called people I hadn't talked to in months. Old friends. Family. People who cared about me without conditions. Tyler came over one night with takeout and said, "Man, I'm proud of you. You handled this with more grace than most people ever could." I didn't feel graceful. I felt tired. But a good kind of tired, the kind that comes when you finally stop fighting for someone who never fought for you. I cleaned the apartment from top to bottom, packed away the last things Jenna left behind, and started rebuilding my routines. Cooking real meals again. Going to the gym. Working on projects I had put off. And slowly, something unexpected happened. I felt like myself again. Not the version of me she made me feel like: small, unimportant, not enough, but the real me. The me that tried, cared, loved, and trusted genuinely. That version deserved better all along. One night, as I sat on the balcony watching the city lights, everything settled into one final lesson. A truth I wish I'd known sooner, but one I'm grateful I know now: sometimes people mock your life because they can't control their own. Jenna didn't hate my life. She feared the simplicity she couldn't handle. She feared stability because she wasn't stable. She ran toward everything shiny because she didn't know how to value something real. And I realized I didn't lose anything that wasn't already slipping away. I just finally let go. Moving on didn't require a grand moment or a dramatic speech. It just needed acceptance. Acceptance that some people aren't meant to stay. Acceptance that betrayal doesn't define you. Acceptance that letting go is sometimes the most powerful revenge of all. And with that, my story wasn't about heartbreak anymore. It was about freedom. If Logan's journey hit home, subscribe for more stories of quiet justice.